The Other Life. Part 1, The Perfect Storm. From the outside, Emily's life looked perfect. A thriving career in interior design, a cozy house by the lake, and a husband, Ryan, who had once swept her off her feet with his quiet charm and subtle intensity. They had been together for 7 years, 5 of them married, and to anyone watching, their love story was the kind that made people believe in fate. But behind the glass walls of their designer home, cracks had begun to form. Ryan had changed. Not all at once, but like the tide pulling away from the shore, slow, barely noticeable until one day, the beach is empty. He started coming home later. Dinners grew cold, and conversations dried into obligatory nods. His smile, once warm and full of mischief, had been replaced with a distant look in his eyes. Emily tried to reach him, but every attempt to connect felt like talking through a wall of fog. "I'm just tired," he'd say. Or worse, "You're imagining things." Emily wasn't the type to snoop. She believed in trust. But the silence in their home had grown too loud to ignore. One night, when Ryan left his phone on the kitchen counter, buzzing with a new message, Emily hesitated, then opened it. It was from someone named Claire. "Can't wait for Friday. I still remember the way you looked at me last time. Red heart." Emily's hands trembled. Her breath caught in her chest. She read it again. And again. Her stomach dropped like she'd stepped off a cliff. She didn't scream. She didn't throw the phone. Instead, she placed it back exactly where he left it, walked into their bedroom, and sat on the edge of the bed. The storm had finally arrived. But she wasn't going to drown. Not without knowing the whole truth. Part 2, Shattered Glass. The next morning, Emily played her part with frightening ease. She made breakfast, eggs, toast, and coffee just the way Ryan liked it. She kissed him goodbye like nothing had happened. But inside, her world had split open. Every word he said, every glance he gave, every step he took was a lie wrapped in familiar skin. She spent the day working, but her mind was elsewhere. She kept replaying the message. The heart emoji. The name Claire. And the date, Friday. Friday. That was 2 days away. Emily didn't cry. Not yet. Not because she wasn't hurting, but because something stronger had taken its place, a need to know. Not just guess, not assume, not wonder. She wanted proof, not for revenge, not even for confrontation, but for herself. To protect what little remained of her dignity. That evening, after Ryan fell asleep on the couch with a fake yawn and a glass of wine untouched beside him, Emily opened his laptop. Password unchanged. Maybe he thought she was too blind to notice, too kind to care. Inside, she found what she feared, and more. There were emails. Hidden in a folder labeled invoices. But they weren't about business. They were about Claire. Photos, messages, videos. Some of them taken in hotels. Others at restaurants they once frequented as a couple. Claire had long, dark hair and a sharp, confident smile. She looked like everything Emily used to be, before she spent her days trying to fix someone who didn't want to be fixed. Then she saw it. A reservation for 2. Friday night. At La Mer. The place where Ryan had proposed to her 5 years ago. The cruelty of it made her chest tighten. He was taking Claire to the place he promised forever. And that's when Emily decided. She would go too. Not to make a scene. Not to beg. But to witness. The death of a love that once felt eternal, Part 3, The Last Supper. Friday night arrived cloaked in tension. Emily didn't wear sorrow, she wore red. A bold, stunning dress that hugged her silhouette like memory clings to the mind. Her lips matched the fabric, and her eyes held a quiet storm. She arrived at La Mer 5 minutes early and requested a table near the back, out of sight, but with a perfect view of the lovers' rendezvous. The maitre d', too polite to question her reservation for one, led her with grace. She ordered wine. She waited. At 8:07 p.m., Ryan entered. He wasn't alone. Claire walked beside him, her laughter soft, her hand on his arm. They looked comfortable. Not the electric kind of affair passion breeds in shadows, but something worse, settled. Emily stared at them, not blinking. They sat. They toasted. They leaned close. Then Ryan's phone lit up. A text. He glanced at it, frowned, and excused himself. Her phone buzzed. Ryan, babe, the client dinner's dragging. Sorry again. Emily's lips twitched. She rose from her seat and walked toward them, slowly, confidently. Ryan hadn't returned yet when she stood before Claire. Claire looked up, startled but not yet understanding. Hi, Emily said calmly. Claire blinked. Do I know you? I'm Ryan's wife, Emily answered. Then she smiled. But not for much longer. Claire's face drained of color. Her mouth opened but nothing came. And then Ryan returned. He froze when he saw her. The blood left his face. You lied, Emily said softly. To both of us, I imagine. Emily, I. She raised her hand. Don't. I'm not here to argue. I just wanted to see who was worth ruining our marriage for. The silence wrapped around them like fog. Claire stood slowly, her chair scraping against the floor. I didn't know he was married, she said, her voice trembling. Emily looked at her, then back at Ryan. Now you do. She turned and walked away, heels clicking like punctuation marks in a sentence finally finished. Outside, the night air felt like freedom. She didn't cry. Not this time. The tears had already been shed, and now there was only lightness. Not because she was over him, but because she was done with him. The end.